Okay julle, ek gaan gou vir julle wys hoe om 'n ramp te teken met 'n trappie. I'm just going to show you guys how to draw a ramp. And with a ramp we're also going to include a staircase, okay? So what I'm going to do with, I always start, we're going to draw an isometric. So I always start with 3 lines, always, doesn't matter what isometric drawing I'm making. It's all 30 degrees and then 30 degrees like this and 90 degrees. If I've done this, then I'm going to measure off the size of this drawing, the box. And for this particular drawing, you can choose your own measurements, but I'm just going to make it 60, which is 6 centimeters. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We're obviously working in millimeters now. We're going to make the height 30, and the reason for that is because I'm going to make every step, I'm going to make a centimeter or 10 millimeters high. So I'm going to make this 30 in total, 30. I'm going to make the width 40 millimeters. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, now once I've selected my width and my height and my length of my drawing, then from there I'm just going to use my triangle. I'm just going to go on and repeat what I've done. So I'm going to draw one line vertical. I'm going to draw another line vertical. Guys, you'll see we're not going to measure again now after this. I'm going to draw a 30-degree line across like this. Now, many of you guys don't have a drawing board. So instead of using a drawing board, you can put your ruler down, make 2 marks, and then work on those 2 marks. Don't go off those 2 marks. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line over there. Then I'm just going to draw, I'm going to move this ruler slightly up. Ek gaan hom bietjie opskuif. So you can do the same thing by just moving your ruler the same distance upward. And I'm turning it around. And now I've created the main box for myself. Now I'm going to start and I'm going to measure off. I'm going to do this in red for clarity. I'm going to measure off, it's 40 in total. I'm going to get half of this over here, and I'm going to measure half of this here at the bottom. Okay, so now gaan die ramp, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a ramp. So I'm going to connect the outside 2 points to get my ramp. So it's like a wheelchair ramp. Normally guys, a wheelchair ramp has to be at a very slight angle, because otherwise the wheelchairs will not be able to go up. This is obvious too high. I think it's normally 1 to 12. So if it's 1 centimeter, it will be 12 centimeters long. That's actually the correct slope normally that we use. Okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to measure off for myself also 3 centimeters over here. So I'm going to make 10, 20, 30 over here. And I am going to also measure 10, 20, 30 on this side. I'm going to make it 10, 20, 30. You don't have to erase anything. I'm going to put in some construction lines over here. There's one over here, and there's one over here. Now I'm going to work at 30 degrees. I'm going to put one in here, and I'm going to put one in there as well. So you'll see all these lines are at the same angle. Sommer? In Junie, ja, maar julle moet dit kan doen. So it's something we want you guys to be able to do. Okay, so now here vanaf, guys, we're almost there. So from here, I'm just gonna, if I have a nice thick pencil or another pen, maybe something with a thicker point, I'm just gonna do my step on the side. So I'm gonna go 1 to the side, 1 down, 1 to the side, another 1 down, and 1 to the side again, and 1 down. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 steps basically that we're going to use. Now, to complete this, we're going to get the same staircase on the other side, but to do this easily, the width stays the same. So if this is 20 from this point to that point, the only thing I need to do is to measure the same distance over here. So I'm going to draw some construction lines here very quickly. Right, so wat ek nou gaan doen is, because this part is 20, guys, I'm going to be talking English and Afrikaans, speaking in both languages. If you're from another country, I'll be switching to English every now and then. Okay, so this is now 20 millimeters, and now I just go and I measure the same distance at each one of these steps. So this one is also going to be 20. This one will also be 20. This one will also be 20 millimeters. This one would also be 20. And guys and ladies, as I am doing this, I'm recreating the same step, just a little bit more to the back. There we go. And I'll do one over here as well. So here's my step. Now the nice thing about this is I can simply go and I can connect the dots at the back. And if you worked accurately, you will see that you're going to have the same thing. Guys, there's another thing you can do. You can connect the dots like that, but you could have also gone and draw 30 degrees, vertical until you connect over here, 30 degrees, vertical. This is another way of doing it, 30 degrees, and vertical. And at last, we're going to do the last bit of this line, which is this bit over here. Okay, so there's my whole step. I'm just going to complete this part as well. I put this one in. You'll see my lines are quite thick. It's just really for clarity purposes. And remember, normally a ramp will not be this steep. Okay, I think, guys, I'm speaking under correction, but I think for every 1 centimeter you go up, it should actually be around about 12 centimeters long. There is a very specific slope that they use, which I'm not 100% sure about that. But guys, here is our complete ramp with the step or the staircase just next to it. The only thing we can do is, obviously, if we don't want it this steep, we can just extend the length of our blocks. We can make it longer. For instance, I made it 3, and then you can just make that much longer to get a less steep slant. Guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shade a bit here. You don't have to do the shading, but shading is always nice, eh? It does give you a better impression of reality. So I'm just going to, and depth, so I'm just going to add a little bit of shade here. Guys, it doesn't have to be perfect, just normal tone shading. Don't overshade. Overshading is never a good idea. Om te veel skadering in te sit is ook nooit goed nie, want dit verloor dan die effek wat jy eintlik wil hê, né? So I'm just going to, from the corners, I'm always going to go start darkening the corners where the most shadows will be, and then I fade it out from that point to the rest over here. And yes, fantastic. So here we've done a bit of a slope here. I'm going to add a little bit of shading on this side as well. I'm going to fade it out as I go to the top of the staircase. Okay, and I'm just going to also really wanted to, I'm just going to use some pen here. You don't have to do that. I'm going to do this as well. Starting the corner in another color, just to bring some extra texture into my drawing. I'm going to work in 2 directions there, just to make it interesting. And yeah, here's our slope. Okay, I'm going to fade it out here towards the middle, and then I'm just going to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to give it some texture. So guys, this is not tone shading, this is just using some lines in opposite directions. And the reason I'm doing this is it just gives you more texture and more depth on your drawing. And you can obviously play around with this, you can use different colors, but always try and keep your main sketch in pencil. And yeah, fantastic. You guys have the ramp. This is for grade 9 technology in South Africa, but wherever you want to draw anything like this, you are going to be able to complete this. If you want to go further with this, guys, if you want to put it into a little bit more of a picture, obviously this will be on more of a ground level, I would say. So let's say this was ground level. Let's say this was at a building. I'm just going to add this. This is not necessarily what I'm doing now. This is just to give some context. Let's say you had a building and you had a bit of a, you don't have a rail here yet. A rail we can also add. I can show you guys how to do that. Let's say this was a bit of a building and you're going up a bit. I'm also going to add some shading. Once again, this is not a necessity. This is really just to add some context here. Guys, so this part is a nice part to add, but it's not a necessity. Like in a building. And while we're at it, normally your B pencils are more suitable for shading. So you get a softer pencil. It does give you a bit more of a softer feel. I don't normally do this, but I have to sharpen this pencil a little bit again. Okay, just for time's sake, I'm just going to work with what I have. Okay, and I'm going to add some shading in here. Okay, and guys, if you wanted to add safety rails, which would always be something that you would have, I'm just going to add a line here. This is not a specific height. I am just going to add a bit of a rail here. Okay, this is not a specific measurement, but obviously one would be able to add like a bit of a rail here for safety, for some safety measures. Okay, so I added a bit of a rail there that you guys can see. And then obviously if you have a step here, I think it would be a good idea obviously to have a safety rail on the side as well. So I'm just going to recreate the same thing. I'm just going to take this line over onto this side. I'm going to put the same thing over here. Add a bit of a safety rail here. And I'm going to do the same thing here at the bottom. So I'm just going to measure, this is 26 millimeters. So I'm just here from the bottom, going to measure up 26. So this will be 10, 20, 25, 26. So I'm just going to draw a line here. I'm going to make it the same height, you see, because then we can join the two very easily. Like I said, this part is additional. You can add this if you want to. I think it's maybe a nice challenge if you want to take your drawing to a higher level. And this part, because there's a lot of other colors, I'm just going to shade this side nice and dark. Fade the bottom out. There will be a lot of shadows under that part. Okay, and over here obviously I'm going to use just some angled lines just to bring that out a little bit. Okay, and guys, now almost at the same slope as what I have over here. I'm just going to connect the top corners there. And I think over here there's not a right and a wrong. You can play around obviously with this to make it nice. I just keep my lines parallel. Obviously this is going to cover up a little bit of my step, but that is okay. Alright, remember, you don't have to go this far, but I think this does add a nice touch to your skill set. Alright, and then obviously if you have done the rail over here, for the people in the wheelchairs, it would also be nice to have another rail exactly like this just over here. Okay, but I'm going to leave it like this for now, but then I'll also extend this, you know, I'll draw another one like this over here, and then one there at the top, and that slope will be slightly different from this one, but obviously it's because it's to support a person that's going up the slope. But if you guys want to, let's do this. Why not? I'm just going to draw a line there, a line here to copy the height. I'm going to start here at the top. So I'm just going to draw the same thing over here. I'm going to add my rail in. Guys, this is obviously not a necessity, but it is, like I mentioned, this does add a nice touch to your drawing and your skill set. Okay, this is about 26. I am going to add another one here at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to add one here. Same width, guys. To be quite honest, if I had to do this over, I would make the width of the width a little bit wider for the slope and the staircase, and I'll extend the length of my block just to make it more, you know, realistic in terms of a real ramp and staircase. Okay, guys, you'll see this. It's not actually that difficult. It looks very complicated, but it's like building a Lego set. If you follow the basic steps and you do it step by step, really, then it's not that difficult. Then it's basically just repeating what you've done before. You see, even with a Lego set, if you build something complicated, most of the steps that we follow are basic steps, you know, the way that we fix blocks together, and that is generic, that stays the same. So that plays off dieselfde. Okay, so I'm just going to add this in as well. Guys, I think this adds a very nice touch to the drawing. Just going to color in this part at the top. Okay, I am going to reshade this part here on the side a bit. Guys, here you have a ramp with a staircase with safety railing. What you want to do is obviously extend the safety railing into this side as well. Guys, I'm just going to stop my drawing over here. I might add another line into that direction, but this is basically where we're going to stop with our drawing. Guys, I hope you learned something today, and I hope that this is going to help you to draw your own staircase, your own ramp in technology. And like you saw, it's basically not that difficult. Okay, just quickly again, what we did is just quickly to repeat the steps. We started with a basic block, all the lines 30 degrees. We created this block. The length, the width, and the height is obviously what you want to use. And then the second step was We divided the top and the bottom in half, and we drew these two lines to get the ramp. Alright, then what I did is I did three equal lines, three parallel lines there, and I did the same thing. I divided it up into 3 parts there and 3 parts at the top, and then I basically drew in my step here on the side. Guys, once I have the step on the side, it is very simple. Okay, I'm going to zoom in slightly. So once I've got this, the last part is just to draw 30-degree lines across, little construction lines, okay, from every one of those points. And once you guys have got that, you can start here at the top, 30 degrees, 90 degrees, 30 degrees, 90 degrees, and you can just follow through on this, and you would get your step and complete that last bit of that line there. But the other way is also to measure the same width. This is what we did. If you measure the same length of that little piece of line there and you put it onto each one of the corners of the step, you'll also get the same thing. So what I'm talking about is if you measure the same distance here and here and here and here and here and here and there, you also get the step. Or you can just go like we did just now. You can go, once you've got the width of your step, you go 30 degrees, 90, 30, 90, 30, and 90, and you complete your last bit. Guys, I hope this helps, and happy drawings. Okay, the channel is EGD Tech. Like and subscribe. Guys, not to boost any channel or anything like that, but just to empower you, and that when I post some new videos, then you guys get the notifications. I do technology, drawings, and I also include engineering, graphics and design, grade 10 to 12. So feel free to share this with your friends to help them and assist them to become better at drawings. Okay, everybody can draw. Some people have a natural talent, but it is something that is a skill that you can practice in and become better at. Have a wonderful day, guys and girls, and see you again next time.